Every man thinks he's in control until he isn't. What starts as curiosity at age 11 can spiral into habits, addictions, darker behaviors, and eventually the destruction of everything you love. I've seen it time and time again with men in my programs, with guys sitting across from me in men's groups, even with men who thought they couldn't keep it hidden forever. Brother, porn isn't harmless. It follows a predictive pattern and cycle. And if you don't break it, it will break you. Today, I'm going to walk you through the 5 stages of porn addiction that I've seen play out in thousands of men's lives. But more importantly, I'm going to show you practical steps that you can take beginning today to interrupt this cycle and begin to create a life of lasting freedom. Welcome to the Rebuilt Man podcast. My name is Coach Frank Rich, founder and host here. It has been our mission for the last 6 years to help men just like you, high-performing men, quit porn, rebuild their bodies, rewire their brains, reignite the passion in their lives, and step into a life of freedom, integrity, and purpose. If you're new to the podcast, make sure to hit that subscribe button. If you're watching us on YouTube, turn those post notifications on. But you may be asking yourself this important question: why is this conversation so urgent? Because porn exposure is happening earlier and earlier. The average age to exposure is 8 to 11 years old. And for most men, their first exposure came through a smartphone, a friend's house, or even accidentally online. And with the rise of AI porn and OnlyFans, escalation is faster than ever before. So no matter wherever you are in your journey, this episode is your chance to stop, identify what stage you're in, and take the actionable steps before porn destroys everything that matters. Guys, let's dive into the 5 stages of pornography addiction. The first stage is exposure. For most men, this happened in childhood. Maybe you stumbled across a magazine. Maybe your friend showed you a video. Maybe you clicked on something online before you even understood what you were looking at. But that first exposure wires the brain. Research shows us that novelty spikes dopamine stronger than repetition, which is why porn grabs hold so quickly. Here's what I tell men: your addiction may not be your fault, but brother, it is your responsibility once you're aware of it to fix it. You may not have chose to be exposed at 9 years old, but you do choose whether you keep living in that cycle today. Now, if you're in the first stage of this addiction, spend some time journaling about that first exposure. Write it down. When did it happen? How did it make you feel? What story did it create about sex, women, and yourself? Then give yourself some grace, but make the decision that you're the one that will break the cycle. Now, if you moved into stage 2, habituation, this is when porn becomes a habit tied to your emotions. You're bored, lonely, stressed, anxious, and your brain remembers, porn makes me feel better. This is how the cue, craving, response, reward loop is formed. You feel a certain way. You've wired yourselves that when you feel that way, this is the pathway to acting out. And the reward loop cycle continues because when you seek porn out, it relieves the feeling that you're struggling with. Now, if this is where you are, you need to do what I call a porn audit. Write down the last 5 times that you watched porn. Where were you? What is it that you were feeling? Was it late at night? Was it early in the morning? Were you stressed? Were you isolated? You'll begin to see these patterns show up in your use. In our program, every man does this exercise in week 1. It's a game changer for so many, because once you see your triggers, you can begin to replace them. Instead of reaching for porn when you feel stressed, you can go for a workout. You can call a brother. You can connect with somebody inside of our community. Instead of scrolling in bed, you can set your phone in other rooms. You can begin to build boundaries in your use. You break that loop by disrupting the trigger. Now, maybe you're already in stage 3. Stage 3 is addiction. When I had Dr. Anna Lemke, author of Dopamine Nation and Stanford's director for addiction, on the podcast, I had her define addiction. Anna told me that it is the continued use of substance or behavior despite negative consequences. Negative consequences. Maybe you've noticed erectile dysfunction. Maybe your wife has caught you and now that intimacy is gone. Maybe you've lost the motivation at work. Maybe you hate yourself and live in guilt and shame every time you relapse. Those are the negative consequences that we're talking about. But yet here you are. You keep going back, brother. That's a sign that you're in the addiction phase. Now, if you're at this stage, you must build accountability and structure. This is where we teach men inside of our program what we call our daily 5. Regular gratitude, evening reflection journaling, movement outside, reading and educating ourselves, and filling our brains and thoughts with positive content. And begin to honor and keep our daily commitments. When you stack these habits daily, you build the foundation for freedom. You can't just stop watching porn. You need to replace it with disciplines that rebuild you. Stage 3, addiction. Now, many men wait until they're in stage 4 before they come to us. Stage 4 is escalation. This is when what you once were satisfied with no longer does the same job. Softcore becomes hardcore. Free porn becomes OnlyFans subscriptions because now you're seeking real interaction. Some men even begin to act out in strip clubs, massage parlors, or even acting out with prostitutes and escorts. I've sat across the table from men that were in sex buyer rehab programs who admitted it all started with porn when I was 10. And now here I am. Brother, that's the escalation cycle. This is when things begin to cost you. The fear of losing your marriage, the fear of losing your job, the fear of getting caught exponentially grows. Now, if you're here, you must train your brain to seek growth rather than novelty. This is where discomfort training comes in. Try 7 days of consistent cold showers. Try fasting for 48 hours. Challenge yourself in the gym. When you prove to yourself that you can embrace discomfort, you're rewiring the brain to pursue progress instead of cheap dopamine. Stage 4 is escalation. This is the stage where most men find us. Because oftentimes by the time you're to stage 5, it's already too late. Stage 5 is destruction. Divorce papers, a pink slip at work, being caught, shamed, and labeled. For some men, it's even worse. Getting arrested for acting out, becoming a registered sex offender, losing literally everything. But for those men, destruction doesn't just mean jail time. If you're choosing porn over date night, that's destruction. If you're shamed that you don't talk to your kids, that's destruction. If you're not the father that your kids need, that's destruction. If porn is robbing you of your purpose, of your faith, of your confidence, of your identity, that's destruction. Here's my call to you. Don't wait till you hit rock bottom. I'm here to tell you today, freedom is possible, but the longer you wait, the harder that it will get. If you're hearing this today, it means God's giving you a chance to act now. So what can you do? Here's 5 steps directly from our curriculum to help take back control and begin to rebuild your life. Maybe you've identified that you are in this cycle. Maybe you're in stage 2, stuck in a habit. Maybe you're in 3, addicted and feeling shame. Or maybe you're already sitting on the brink of destruction. Now the question is, what are you going to do about it? How do you actually rebuild your life? This is the time where I want to give you 5 steps directly from our program. These are the exact steps that we walk men through every single day to create freedom in their life. Step 1 is clarify your identity over behavior. Brother, porn has lied to you about who you are. It tells you you're weak, broken, addicted. But you are not your behavior. The first step to declaring freedom is declaring who it is you're becoming. Write down, who is the man I want to be 90 days from now? When you anchor into that vision, porn starts to lose its grip. Step 2, we talked about it earlier here, master the daily 5. Honor your commitments. Don't hit snooze. Gratitude. Read every day. Journal. Begin to move. 5 simple disciplines stacked daily that rewire your brain and rebuild your life. Step 3 is to stop doing this alone. Real accountability is needed. Porn will thrive in secrecy, but freedom thrives through community. Get one man in your life that you can text when you're triggered. But better yet, get around brothers who are fighting the same fight with you. These men will help you as you move into step 4, which is to train yourself in discomfort every single day. We talked about cold showers, fasting, hard workouts, taking the path that is harder towards your purpose instead of staying stuck in a cycle of pleasure. Each time you lean in discomfort, you weaken porn's grip on your brain and on your life. Step 5 is you got to have a clear vision for your future. You can't just quit porn. You need something bigger that you're running towards. Write out your 1 year and 5 year visions for your faith, for your fitness, for your relationships, for your marriage, for your body, for your finances and your career. A clear future will help kill the drift that you're living in. These 5 steps, identity, daily 5, accountability, discomfort, and vision, are the starting point for every man who succeeds. And if you take them seriously, like I said, you won't just quit porn, you rebuild your life from the inside out. Now let's wrap this up and bring it all together, because as we've talked about here, porn addiction follows 5 predictable stages: exposure, habituation, addiction, escalation, and destruction. But just as predictable as that cycle is, freedom is predictable and possible when you apply the right steps. So I laid out the first 5 for you, because awareness without action changes nothing, but awareness with action can change everything. Now, if you're ready to go deeper and you're ready to reclaim your life and rebuild your identity, I want to invite you into our free 7-day porn reset. Inside this free 7-day challenge, you'll get the action steps needed to begin to reset your brain, interrupt those triggers, and build the habits of a porn-free man. And when you join us today, you get access to our exclusive Brotherhood community, free for a week. You can go to therebuiltman.com/7-day reset, or click the link down there in the show notes below. But don't wait until destruction. Don't wait until porn robs you of everything you love. Take action now. Brother, freedom is possible, and it starts with your next step. Visit therebuiltman.com/7-day reset, and I'll see you on the inside.